back into War Thunder. And 1.79 has just dropped. Quite literally. For a full list of the changes, I'm not going to go through them all because there are quite a few really minor, insignificant ones that, I'm not going to mention. But there's a lot on there. There's also a few additions to the aircraft, such as the Fritz X being added in, and a few other bits and pieces getting changed, as per usual. Now, obviously, we were getting certain vehicles added in with this patch. You can read some of them there. And I've managed to get 2 vehicles on test drive. The Leopard 2A4, as you can see there, and Type 90 is on test drive as well. Right, now as far as everything else goes, with regards to what's been added in with this patch, I have been through this already on the dev server, but I'm going to do it again now, just for completion's sake, and then I'll have a bit of a closer look at the vehicles that I know that may have a few issues with them, rather. Anyway, the Corsair. The French Corsair is that one. I've already had a look at that on the dev server. I'm just going to check to see if it's still got the rocket pods. Yep. So, yeah, and at 6.8 battery, that is going to be interesting. As far as its performance goes, pretty much similar to, I'd expect, to the 5.7 American Corsair, but with the exception that this gets the rocket pods, and that is a massive benefit in certain regards, at least for ground pounding, in comparison to the other one. Now, as far as anything else goes for the French, obviously they've got this getting thrown in as well, the F-84 G26RE. That's at 7.7 battery, and I believe that is a unique aircraft, as in none of the other nations has the has the G26. Just check. G21 and G21. There you go. So yeah, 2 new aircraft for France. As well as that, they are also getting 1 new tank. Only 1, unfortunately, and that's the AMX-40. Now again, I've had a look at that on the dev server, and I'll have another closer look at it in a short while. The APF SDS is still down there now. If I just look at the picture of it, there you go. This performs similarly to the, I would say the Leo 2K, but it's not. This performs more like the Leo A1A1, which is at 8.3 battery, and this is at 9.3. It's been increased. It's been increased. That's amazing. Truly, that is amazing. At 9.0, that wouldn't have been that bad, in my opinion, because of the gun, more than anything. But the armor on it is worth 9.3. The Leopard 2K has got substantially better armor, and that doesn't actually have composite on it. This does. The MX-40 does have composite. Right, on to the next nation. We'll go backwards through this. For those of you who've just joined, you won't have seen me buy the IRR, so that's one of the new vehicles that we've got. 2 MG151s and 2 7.92 Browning machine guns, all wing mounted as far as I'm aware. There you go, cannons are there, machine guns are there. And this is going to be relatively low battery. It's 2.7 BR as far as RB goes, with quite a nice loadout of ordnance. That isn't bad at all. Rockets and 250 kilogram bomb. So this could be quite dangerous in a tank battle, I think. And as far as aircraft combat goes, that's got a decent amount of ammunition as well. So this may turn out to be another Key 100. We'll have to wait and see. Right, nothing else new for the Italians apart from the RE2000 GA, which is a very low tier fighter at 2.8 battery with 2 12.7mm Breda Safat machine guns. I wouldn't expect much from this at all, more so considering its battle rate and lack of armament or armament options. 2 100 kilogram bombs is its maximum, so yeah, it's not gonna be amazing in my opinion. Reminds me a lot of the P40 though, I think. or P-43 is it? The American plane. The British one that was given away a few months ago. But either way, yeah, I will maybe get round to check out these at some point, but I'm really not in a rush even, to do so. As far as these go, at least. The IAR might be in a bit more of a rush to check that out. But again, with that, I imagine that's going to be more useful in ground forces games, and at the moment, Italy doesn't have really anything. So, yeah, testing that out. I may do a few air combat games with it, but I think I'll mainly wait for the tanks before really going ham with that. If I do go ham with the Italian tanks, that is. Alright, the Key 32 is the next one up for Japan. Again, I did have a look at this on the dev server. It's not particularly amazing, if I'm completely honest. The D3A1, in theory, is the better aircraft than this. It has had its battle rating lowered though. That was at 1.7 battle rating on the dev server. It's now down at 1.3, which makes more sense because its equipment, well, rather its ordnance loadout and its defensive capabilities are very mediocre. By that I mean the D3A1 actually has better armament than that, and it gets almost the same bomb load as well. So, you know, for choices, I'd still probably go with the D3A1 over the Key 32. Anything else new for the Japan as far as aircraft goes? No. But, and this is the big but, we've got a new heavy hitter. The Type 90 has just been introduced. Again, I did check this out on the dev server. I will have a bit of a better look at it at some point, and hopefully put together something for it. Now, as far as this vehicle's performance goes, similar to the Leopard 2 A4, a little bit lower as far as height goes, and I think length goes. It's mainly because it's a Japanese vehicle and they produce vehicles in order to take advantage of their national size. And no, I'm not joking about that. I'm not trying to be racist either. That is actually a thing that they do take into consideration when they're designing their vehicles. Anyway, as far as this goes, it should perform very similarly to the Leopard 2 A4, but it's a little weak in certain respects. Overall, though, like I say, it's going to be very similar. And on to the next nation. The next nation is Britain, and for Britain, there's really not been that much added, and this for me has been a bit of a disappointment for a patch, for the British at least. Let me just go to aircraft. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing new there. Okay. And as far as tanks go, they've gotten two new vehicles. The Mark 6A AA, which is basically a Mark 6 tank with an AA mount on it, and the AA mounting being 4 7.92 basic machine guns. I did have a quick look at this on the dev server. I'm not going to take it out for a test drive now, but it is a 2 crewman vehicle with very light armour, and really only useful for destroying maybe gas trucks and aircraft. That's about it. But yeah, for completeness sake, having it in, yeah, I suppose it's, like I said, another quick English vehicle at the end of the day. So, you know, I'm all for that. And on to the other vehicle being added in. Well, actually two more. I'll come to the Centurion in a moment and just cover the Chieftain Marksman, which is here. This is basically the equivalent of a Gepard turret on a Chieftain chassis. So it gives Britain a SPAA with a radar, enabling it to lock on to enemy aircraft and blast them out of the sky. As far as it goes, well, yeah, not much armour as far as the turret goes. Whole armour is the same as the Chieftain, and obviously it's a first for the fact that it's going to give Britain an SPAA with radar. Something I'm kind of happy about, but the fact that we didn't get a 9.7 this patch for Britain is quite telling, I think. And it basically means that Britain aren't competitive at the very high battle rate of 9.7. Now, going on to the Centurion Mark 5 AVRE. Now, again, I did have a look at this on the dev server, and I think I'm going to stick by what I said on there for the most part, because, well, from what I saw from the test results, and that is that this vehicle, unless you're a really, really die-hard, like, nutcase of a fanboy for British tanks, isn't worth getting. Hesh at the moment is underperforming. It's also been nerfed again this patch. That is the only ammunition type for that gun, and that is your only anti-tank weapon on this tank. As far as defensive capabilities go, it does get a bit of era protection, and it also gets the dozer blade on the front, and it also gets these composite boards here along the sides of the track at the front. That, however, isn't enough to save it from being utterly destroyed by anything it will be fighting against at 7.0 barring. And with the Hesh being as random as it is, I can't recommend it. I personally won't be getting this unless it's on 50% sale. Hopefully it'll be one of those later on this week, or unless Gaijin give it me for free. And that is going to be the only way I get it. Or the only two ways I get it. I'm disappointed at the end of the day, because this really doesn't deserve to be a premium in that it was a production vehicle. If Hesh was as effective as it should be, the battle lane on this and a few of the vehicles would have been increased as well. As far as its capabilities go in the current meta of the game, it's not going to be very good in my opinion, and will only have limited success against various targets that you'll be fighting against. I'm not going to test that out. I may get it on a test drive at some point once I've researched everything else for this patch, but at the moment that's last on the list of things to do. Right, on to the next nation, Russia. Now, with Russia being, the patron saint of this game, basically, you'd maybe expect them to get the lion's share of vehicles. And generally speaking, that is the case with War Thunder. And you can see it in the tech tree. It's just right there. You look at the Russian tech tree and compare it to, well, any of the tech trees for Russia, and compare it to any of the other nations, it's got more of everything. Or anything even. It's even got aircraft that aren't even in other tech trees, like the P-47 D-27. That's an American plane, but the Americans haven't got the D-27. They've got the D-28, and I think it's the D-24, but they don't have that one. Likewise, the B-25J-30, that one, yeah, the Russians get that, but the Americans don't. And what else are we looking at? P-39N, that one, the NO, yeah, that's a special variant that the Russians actually made themselves of the P-39N. I don't think the Americans played around with this in particular, but I'm honestly not sure. I don't think the P-39K is available for the Americans either, thinking about it. And that version there again is a Russianized version, so, But anyway, I digress, going off topic. So yeah, you kind of expect Russia to get the lion's share of vehicles. And they do, sort of. The problem has been, though, since the Abrams has been put in, the Russians have really not been enjoying top tier. This is because they've not got an effective vehicle at the maximum battle rate of 9.7 now. Bearing in mind that at the start of the previous patch, 1.77, the Abrams was actually at 9.3 battle rate when it was first introduced, and only about 2 weeks later did they increase the battle rate to 9.7. Prior to that, all of the rank 9 vehicles, apart from the Leo 2K, were at 9.3 battle rate. So the T-64B, for example, was at 9.3 battle rate, and it still is. The addition of the T-62M in this patch isn't going to change the top tier for Russia. It's not a 9.7 vehicle, so they still don't have a 9.7 vehicle in which to compete with the Abrams. And due to this, Gaijin have really kind of shot themselves in the foot, I think, with regards to Russia. Then again, it's more, I think, a case of something else, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So you've got the T-62M here. Again, I did check this out on the dev server. I know that this isn't going to be effective against such vehicles as the Abrams, never mind the Leopard 2A4 or the Type 90. Or even the Challenger for that matter. That was struggling against the Challenger, I'm pretty sure. At least if the Challenger is in a hold down position. Anyway, going on to something else. Yeah, one of the other changes that's occurred in this patch is the BMP-1 is swapped places with the Object 906, and the 906 that its battle rate increased to 8.0. This is due to the addition that this had last patch of a autoloader, which gives it a 4.3 second reload rate, which is kind of really low, and that was at 7.3 for pretty much all of last patch. Again, comedy. And even more comedy now that the BMP-1 is tier 5. Right, going on to aviation is we've got the IL-28SH, which is an improved version of the IL-28 in some respects at least, mainly for ordnance as far as I'm aware, in that this can carry rocket pods and big ass rockets and cannon, or any of the three rather. It can still carry the original bomb load, but it's the rockets which are the big issue with this thing. And yeah, that may cause a few issues with regards to tank battles, but I don't think it will do that much, if I'm completely honest, because radar SPA really will just wreck this thing. I know how effective SPA is, top tier, and yeah, this isn't fast enough. And it's also only got rockets at the end of the day, which means you have to get within a certain range in order to fire them effectively at the targets that you're going to be attacking, giving SPA plenty of time to shoot down. Right, now then, we're on to the last two nations, and this is where it gets kind of interesting. First off, I'll go through the Germans. Interesting. And interesting, right, I was under the impression that naval units were going to be in with this patch, and they're not. Ah, well. That's really kind of interesting. Alright, so never mind, forget about the spiel I was going to give about naval units, we'll go on to the aircraft. We've got the 109Z down here for the Germans. This aircraft is a twin version of the 109. I have flown this in another game called IL-2 Sturmvik, and this is a little bit different, I will say that much. In IL-2 Sturmvik it gets an additional cannon in the centerline mount. In this game it doesn't. So I assume that you may get that later, but yeah, can't really say when or if even. And as well as that, we've had the 110 has had its variation changed. It used to be the C4, I think, or C3, and now it's the C7. As well as that being changed, we've now got the F2 being added in, which is a later variant of the 110. And the 110G2, which is again another variant being added in with various weapon fits. This one, for example, I believe also gets a 37mm cannon. Yep. Along with lots of other stuff, such as rockets. Okay, and let's go with the bits for Germany. We've got the armoured car down here, the SDKFZ 221. Again, I did check this out on the dev server. This is actually a bit of an odd choice for Gaijin. Well, I say it's a bit of an odd choice for Gaijin. They make odd choices all the time. But as far as this goes, and them putting it in, it's a very weird one, in my opinion. Being that this wasn't necessarily the production variant of the vehicle. The original production variant had a 20mm cannon, not the squeezeball gun that they've got on it at the moment. I assume that we'll get that variant as well at some point, but when, yeah, it remains to be seen. Okay, and what else do we get for the Germans? Well, one other thing, and that is the Leo 2K down here. Oh, sorry, Leo 2A4. Again, this is something I did check out on the dev server, and I decided to get this on a test drive so I can check it out to its fullest capabilities whilst I'm driving it around. This is, again, it's a bit of a controversial one in some respects. In other respects, not so much. Obviously, I was kind of expecting them to put Leopard 2 in, not just the 2K, if you understand what I mean. But which variant, yeah, I wasn't so sure. As it turned out, we got the 2A4 put in, and with that, it's got the DM23 round. Now, the irony with this entire thing is the DM23 round isn't the best round that this could use. It could also use another round called the DM33, which, coincidentally enough, is also identical to this round, the JM33, which is kind of weird. Being that the Type 90 gets the JM33, but the German Leopard 2A4 doesn't get the DM33. It gets the DM23. So, bit of a odd one that. I think it's a balancing measure by Gaijin. Really wouldn't be surprised, at least anyway, considering what they do or how they've done things previously. Again, I've got this on test drive, so we'll be taking it out for some testing. I will have another quick look at it again once I've just finished with the summary, just to go through some of the armour issues maybe with it. Right, that's all that we've got for Germany and America. Let's see, so we'll do aviation first. One new plane there, which is the FJ4B, this one. Basically, it's the Navy or naval version of the Sabre, or similar at least. And it also gets something that's kind of special. Yep, they're back again, Hydras. 114 of them. And that is kind of interesting. It is at 9.0 bat rate. As far as its flight performance goes, from what I can tell, it's really not a 9.0 jet, being that it's not anywhere near as fast as the 9.0 jets, the fast ones, that is. And it kind of shows the problem with the top tier jets for Gaijin, or rather the way they've got them at the moment, in that they're too compressed. The upper limits of the jets should really have a higher bat rate than 9.0, and they should decompress the bat rates around that. But that's been a case. Well, it's been a case of that for quite some time now, and they've not changed it this patch, so they're going to be changing it anytime soon. TM. Anyway, that's at 9.0 bat rate, falls underneath the F3D, and we'll set you back 390,000 RP. And finally, onto the tanks for America. We've had, well, in theory, we've had actually added in 3 new units for America, but really it's only 2. One is this vehicle, the XM803. Again, this is something I did check out on the dev server. It's a version, or very similar version or variant of the MBT-70. Main difference being that it's missing the 20mm cannon there, and it's replaced with a 50 cal. Other changes are kind of slight, I suppose. I think the armour disposition's changed slightly. But yeah, this is very similar to the MBT-70, so I'm not in that much of a rush to get this, if I'm completely honest. That's kind of on the back burner. The other vehicles that are available for America, and this is part of the reason why I said 3 but really 2, are the XM1s. I can only show you the the General Motors version, which is this one. There is also the Chrysler variant as well, which is now in game. Well, sorry, I say it's now in game. It will be in game when the Xbox gets its release, I imagine. This is the American premium gift Abrams, if you want to call it that, and it's sat at 9.0 bat rate. Now, I've got a bit of an issue with this, and I've explained it in one of my most recent videos. The issue being that Gaijin said that they were never going to add in top tier premium vehicles in this game. And true enough, by top tier I mean, rank 6. True enough, this isn't a rank sixth vehicle. But, and this is the big but, Battle Rating 9.0 is enough to get it into top tier games with the Abrams at 9.7. That means, effectively speaking, that is a top tier premium. So they basically just gone against that rule of we will never put in top tier premiums in this game by putting this vehicle into the game. Bearing in mind also that this is the only 9.0 premium in the game currently. There aren't any others. Well, there is. It's the XM1C, but that isn't available to anyone with a PC or PS4 for that matter. And that's the kind of big issue I've got with this patch more than anything, is this. Well, I say it's just this, it's not just this, there's several other issues as well. The lack of a 9.7 vehicle for Russia, the lack of a 9.7 vehicle for Britain, and the lack of a 9.7 vehicle for France all say to me that they're not balancing this game or developing this game in a balanced manner. And the fact that they put in the XM1 there, and this is another thing as well, the XM803 there, when the XM803 on the first week of the dev server was actually below the MBT70, and it actually was made after the MBT70 as well, it looks like a cash grab. It looks like quite a sad cash grab by Gaijin. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these vehicles' armour. So we've got the Leopard 2. Right, I'm going to have to throw this in somewhere now. I think we may have to get rid of the Leo A1A1, but I'm tempted to get rid of the Bagel Pants because that's just so meh. It really is meh. The Leo A1A1 is better than that in my opinion. I just want to have a look at the armour values. Okay. So, what are we looking at there now then? Potential analysis, let's see if this will stop a T64. Stock ammo? No. And I'm assuming that that will be the same for the Leo 2 as well. Yep. And yeah, the main reason why I took out test drive on this, the Leo 2A4 and the Type 90, is basically because of the XM1 spam that I imagine is going to be quite a feature for the next few months in this game. Yeah, they also nerfed the crap out of the MX-40. In fact, I'm just going to check that now. I've not re-checked this yet. But I'm guessing this is still boned. I don't mean properly boned. Right, first week of the dev server patch, alright. It had composite here and here. There you go. There though, not anymore. That is now empty. It's spaced armor. That used to have composite filling in there. All of that area there and there, that had composite in. And now it doesn't. Now it's just spaced armor. And that means that a tier 3 tank can bend this frontally through the mantlet. Which isn't good for this vehicle, in my opinion. They also increased the battle rating to 9.3 as well, which is hilarious, considering they took the composite out. And we got the SM1s on our side. No! Oh, god damn it, he's just driving circles. Oh, god damn it. It really wouldn't surprise me if I didn't see that though.